Welcome to Neopets, a nostalgic and beloved children's virtual pet website that's now home to billions of starving and abandoned pets that are called Neopets. It's filled with a slew of wonderful cities, kingdoms, forests, deserts, and all you can imagine, just waiting to be explored. But more importantly, it's a website full of games which could earn you virtual currency or Neopoints for playing. There are plenty of games to choose from, and you can earn points daily. As usual, the better you are at any given game, the more you will earn. Neopets is very near and dear to my heart because it was the first time that I ever made an account, and the first time ever that I created a password for myself, and of course, the first time ever that I had to lie about my age. So, obviously, I'm gonna break it just like everything else I cherish from my childhood. Today's target will be a very memorable game in my mind, Trouble at Neopian National Bank. The concept of the game is very simple. You work at the bank, you find criminals that come and go from the bank, and you trap them where they stand by pressing one of six buttons. The red buttons at the bottom corresponds to the door above it. If you let the baddies escape, or if you trap someone who is innocent, you lose a life. You can do that 3 times before entirely losing your job at the bank. So how can you tell who is a baddie? Well, by their looks, of course. The game's overall message is to teach kids to judge a book by its cover. And obviously, the better you are at the game, the better you are at stereotyping. See this guy? He's quite an anomaly. He's just any old snaky boy in sweats. If you just glance over the instructions, you'll see there are 3 creatures to look out for, and he ain't one of them. Either way, it turns out he is, but he is the last surprise enemy we have to deal with. This is my best real life run, and as you can tell, I suck at the game, ending up with just under 500 points. But don't worry, by the end of this, we'll beat every single person on the leaderboard with the one skill I mastered in college: cheating. I start by thinking of all the advanced computer vision methods I could be using: feature matching, object localization, deep learning, or convolutional neural networks, but I end up on a much simpler and honestly more efficient method. We take a screenshot of every door and we try to determine if there is a baddie at any given door. We do this by zooming real in, deep, and analyzing all the pixels in that shot. Then we see if there are a good number of colored pixels that match any given baddie's colors. If we find a match, then we press that doors button. So, let's see how that all works. Our first test goes okay initially. We notice that we managed to avoid trapping any normal, innocent creatures with our algorithm. We also end up being able to trap a raccoon couple. And as a side note, we can see if a bad guy has been found in the console to the right, along with the number of pixels that we found in any given color range. We can see that it's working well so far, trapping the enemies. However, we notice that too many of the baddies are being identified twice or even 3 times at a given door because there is no lag in between. So right here you can see that the greenhorn or green jester dude was identified 3 times even through the jail bars. So this is bad because it can continue to click and it will lose its money. It might also eventually lose its life if an innocent creature pops up right after it goes off. In our next iteration, we fixed this problem by introducing some lag and also tightening the restrictions on the color range. We can see that this mostly causes only one baddie to be found in each spot, but we still have a problem with the greenhorn. We let the program run fully this time and realized that it does pretty well, definitely better than I could ever have done. There are sometimes still money losses when greenhorns show up because our algorithm presses the button even after the greenhorn is gone due to it seeing the green through the bars. Right? However, that ends up not being the problem. We go all the way to about 1200 points or so before we completely miss an enemy. We completely miss those bad balls of fur there. One thing we can observe through this is that the more we narrow down our algorithm, the more our performance is affected. So throughout this run, we see that we would have to make a sacrifice either way. It's a trade-off for us to be accurate or to be quick. We end up seeing that all our losses in this run come from completely missing some different baddies, and this leads us to lose completely at level 44 with just 300 points remaining. Anytime now. Soon enough. There we are. So, what am I to do? Is it always going to be a sacrifice? Then it came to me. I decided to do something I've never considered before. My fear all throughout college, multi-threading. It's a simple concept of running multiple instantiations of code at the same time with different threads on your computer. Think of having a few tabs open in Chrome or whatever browser you use. They all work in synchrony, but with programming, they are never exactly predictable and you can run into many problems that get out of hand quickly. However, if used correctly, each thread can work on one door at a time and produce a much greater performance with the accuracy that we need. But yeah, it turns out all we had to do was put in some functions, shift our code around, import the right Python packages for multi-threading, and put it all to our advantage. Alright, time for our final test. Remember, our score to beat is 6,000 points by Ethnarch, and it starts off pretty well. Basically no problems, and we knew that from the start, but I'm going to speed it up for your sanity and mine, so sit back, enjoy these jazzy upbeat bops, and I'll see you at the end of the video. I'm basically going to run it till either it or my bot breaks. Who the hell is this? They're humans in Neopets? We had a 0 by the level counter because basically we broke it. I cashed in all my gold at once because I don't want to lose any of that points just in case, but it also just makes a really satisfying sound. And here we beat the record. Now we just have to see how far we can go. Here we reach 100 gold and break that counter too. So we can pretty much sit back, relax, and wait for however long we want until, hang on, where did my lives go? Okay, let's rewind. Everything seems normal until right about here, where a snake got away with stealing some dough. You know what? We're so far ahead at this point that I can continue to take the loss at any point, and I'm just gonna keep it running and see what happens. So let's continue. I cash it all in because I can sense disaster coming. Just approaching level 900, and lo and behold, disaster strikes in the form of another little sneaky boy, stealing 900 gold. We lost, but we broke the world record by 4 times. Obviously, Neopets doesn't let me send my score here because we're just too OP. We officially saved the bank from more criminals than anyone can ever claim. But before they decide to ban me, I decide to do one last good deed. Neopets has a donation tree that I want to give all my Neo points to. It turns out that Neopets doesn't like big donations, so I'm gonna have to split it all up. And that's it, folks. I'm banned.